Should I look online for the solution when I'm stuck? You know, I want to get to my 80%. You know, this is the most important thing in my life, like to get to the next project with 80% and things like that. And like people, like when they put like the wrong pressure on themselves, like they tend to go online and just like copy everything. The problem with that is that you're not learning anything. So you're going like from project to project without gathering the necessary information that you're going to need to actually like solve the next project, right? So one of the things you want to absolutely not do is to go online and just copy, you know, like without thinking about it, like the code that you see, right? This is super important. And what's very important is that you are not here to have 80%. So the score is just like some kind of, you know, information for us and for you to understand where you stand and where you should stand. All right. But this is not, the goal of the program is not for you to have 80%, right? You don't care like the percentage you have. Like the goal of the program is for you, like in a year and a half, to have a good job in computer science, preferably, right? Or something in tech, like, you know, but using this background, like everything you've learned, to get to a better job, to get to a better position, right? So this is the goal of the program. The goal is not to get to 80%. Nobody's going to ask you, hey, like, what was your score at Holberton when you get there and you are interviewed, right? Doesn't make sense? So don't put too much pressure on yourself. You have to put like a little bit of pressure, right? We're here to do hard things. This is like the mantra of ALX and Fred. And this is like 100% true. We're here to do hard things. This program is not easy, but you know that, right? Getting into the program, you know it's not going to be easy. And everybody's like, oh yeah, it's not easy. It's fine. But then you actually, you know, hit a wall and then like, what do you do? But like 100% you should not cheat. You should not get like the code of someone else online, because if you start doing this, then you're going to do it more often. And then you're going to get into a path that is not the right one. You're going to get the 80%, but you're not going to get the job. So it's like this 80% is worth nothing. So don't focus on the 80%. Focus on your learning, right? One of the things that also sometimes pushes people to cheat is that they see other people like, you know, finishing the projects is like, you know, like 2 hours, and you're stuck for 8 hours on the same task, you know, like the second task of the day. It's very hard. It's very hard on your mind, right? It's like, oh wow, like everybody's finished, I'm the last one. No. So first of all, a lot of people who are not finished, you don't know about it. There's like tens of thousands of people in like the last cohorts, tens of thousands of them who are just like struggling as you are. Same level, right? So what you hear is only the people who finished most of the time, because they want to help. So they say, hey, I'm done. Like, can I help you? This is great, right? And you should be happy for them. You know, great. Like they finished, they got it, and maybe they can help me, and they're offering help. It's great. It should not be taken as a negative impact on your mindset, on your moods, because someone has finished before you. There's always going to be someone better than you. There's always going to be someone with a higher IQ. There's always going to be someone who has done this for 10 years and now it's too easy for them and it's very hard for you. Doesn't matter. You're not here for the others. You're here to help other people, right? But by doing so, you're also helping yourself. You're here to be better than yourself, not better than everyone else. You're here for you to have a job. You're not here to be the best of the best of the best of the cohort. It doesn't matter. Whether you're the first, the second, the third, the thousandth, it doesn't matter as long as you have a job. The goal is to have a job. The goal is not to have 80%. Okay, 80% is just for us a way to understand where we stand in the program and where you stand in the program. Okay, does it make sense? Very, 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 very important. So don't compare yourself to other people. It doesn't matter. Okay, but still, it's natural. Right? And so you're going to compare yourself to other people. But let me show you like something. This is going to be the first whiteboard session. So I think you should be seeing my screen right now. It says Miro, right? And up, switch. So let me show you something. So this is going to be a graph, right, of, oops, this is the level. Whoa. Okay. And right now, you think you're somewhere here, this level. And then you have someone in your cohort, like, it's he or she is 10 times better than you. If they finish the project in like 2 hours and you're still stuck, you like still haven't done 50%, it's the end of the day, it's like, 10 p.m., like, the deadline is in 2 hours, you're in full panic. And, those guys are like so higher. And then you look at this gap, right? And this gap is huge. And you say, program's not for me. Like, look at those guys. They succeed like so well. But what's the reality? Like, you take a step back. And now you're going to add me in my level to your graph. Okay? And this is the level still. And this is you. And this is me. Right? Huge gap. But now you're going to take the person who's very, very good. Probably, this person is right here. Right? So now like this gap that you thought were so huge because you compare yourself to the next person, this gap is actually very small. Very, very small. Right? And so now you can say, okay, like those person would have done it in 2 hours, but like Julien would have done it in 5 minutes. So like, I'm not that far in the, in this level set. And then you add Guillaume. So Guillaume, is our CTO, is a great friend of mine and is much better than me, right? And so you add Guillaume into, the comparison table that you have in your head. And, you are here and Guillaume is here. And I am somewhere, in the middle. And the person of the cohort who's like the best is probably like somewhere here. And really the gap between you and them is so, so small. So, so small, right? And now you're going to add another person. You're going to add Linus Torvalds. This guy is like super, super high, is like one of the best level in the world, right? He invented Linux. He's like a great coder. And, you're probably somewhere here, You just started. And, Guillaume's probably somewhere here. And I'm somewhere here, right next to you guys. And the person who's the best in the cohort is probably somewhere here. You don't even distinguish anything, right? So now like the gap really is this, because your goal is to get there. Your goal is not to get there. Your goal is to get to my level and then Guillaume's level and then Linus' level. This is the path you have to walk. And it doesn't matter if someone's like just like one step ahead. This is the huge mountain and you're going to climb it one step at a time. You can't run it. You can't run like the entire mountain. Not possible. Sometimes you're going to run. Sometimes you're going to walk. Most of the time it's just like one step after the other. Right? And so when you compare yourself to other people in the cohort, I want you to remind, this graph. The goal is not to get there. The goal is to get here. And so really, you guys have the same level, honestly. Does it make sense? So now the real comparison you want to do, and you absolutely want to do this every single week, is this is me, day 0. And where do I stand compared to me day zero right now? And probably you're here, you know, week 1, week 10, week 15, you know, and sometimes, you know, week 16, week 17, you don't grow too much. And then, you know, oh, something, you know, clicks and boom, you're going back on the path of growth. So compare yourself only with yourself like in the past, not with anybody else. It doesn't matter. This is not a race. You know, we've been learning that, you know, you need to be number one all the time. It's not true. It doesn't matter. This is not the Olympics. The Olympics, there's only one gold medal. Here there's like hundreds of thousands of jobs around the world who are waiting for you. And so it doesn't matter who's the best in the cohort. And, you know, most of the time, the person who's the best in the cohort is not necessarily going to be the best, you know, outside of the program. So it doesn't matter where you stand compared to other people. What matters is that you're moving forward every day, you're showing up. You know, first showing up is like 80% of the job. You know that, right? Most of the people are not even in the program right now. Most of the people are like, you know, watching videos online on YouTube like all day long in their sofa when they have, you know, free time. And you are here grinding and learning, and this is how you change your life. Okay? So you already did the biggest step. The biggest step is to start. Now you have to do the second step, huge, which is like you need to continue, right? No matter what happens. If it's hard, it's good. If it's too easy, then you're learning nothing, right? Think about it. If it was too easy, you wouldn't need this program, right? And so everybody needs this program probably today. Otherwise, you would have a job already, right? So same thing when you compare yourself to other people, like, you know, if they were good enough, they would probably not be in the program. So like everybody's like learning from that, and everybody can learn from anybody. Okay. So for those who are like, you know, going through this like very, very quickly, I strongly encourage you to help other people. Never give them the answer, but give them some advice, you know, like ask them questions so that they can move forward. And understand that it's harder for some people than it is for others. And it doesn't, this is life, right? Life is not fair. Get over it. You know, not everybody has the same IQ. Not everybody has the same experience. Not everybody has, you know, the same environment. You know, like some people like have noise all the time around them. It's very hard to focus. Some people have, you know, very bad connection, internet connection. It's very hard for them to focus too. Like it's very, it's much harder for a lot more people than you guys. So if you're here in the program, you know, this is like something where, you know it's going to be hard. You know, it's going to be hard for other people. If you have like free time at one point because, you know, it's too easy for you, that's great. Help other people. By doing so, you're going to, you know, create like a good network. You're going to help other people. And you're going to help yourself, because once you have to explain to somebody, you have to be at a much higher level than where you are when you only solve the problem. This is very true. Every time I teach you guys, every time I do a live coding session, I learn something. Because you're going to ask questions that I have never heard of. You know, I didn't think about it. So, you know, it helps everybody. And, you know, beyond just the coding, right? You're gonna, you know, create links, you know, with each other. And one of the very important thing and like the very powerful thing that, you know, ALX and this program is bringing on the table is this huge network. Can you guys imagine, like, you should be like on LinkedIn adding like everybody, you know, so that you know, you keep the connection. But the people you're going to keep the most connection with is the one you're going to be helping, the one you're going to be interacting with, the one you're going to be brainstorming with. And this is going to be your first circle. And every time I have a problem today, you know, I can't solve everything. You know, I'm not a genius. But I have a lot of people. I helped a lot of people, and I maintain a network, professional network, like, and a lot of friendship in between. And so whenever I have a problem, you know, I just call somebody who's better than me and at this task. It could be like specific in tech. It could be like, oh, like I need to build like this type of program. I know nothing about it. I never done it before. I'm going to read a lot. And then, you know, when I grasp the topic, I have like most of the time a lot of questions. And then I just call my friends I just call my network and say, hey, I know you did this before. How did you do it? How did you overcome that? Blah, 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 right? So it's not just about coding, right? It's also about building a network. And you are so lucky to be like, like the cohort is so big. Like, like go right now on Slack, exchange all your LinkedIn information and add everybody to your LinkedIn account. Because trust me, tomorrow you're going to need each other. And if you maintain this network, I'm going to hiring you like 10 times more than somebody who doesn't have a network, because you bring like all this experience with you. It's not just with you, it's with your network. So by nurturing all the nodes in your network, by helping each other, you also building your profile. And this is like super important in the professional life. Anyway, I think I'm digressing a little bit, but I want to make sure, like, going back to the topic, you want to compare yourself only to yourself. You want to compare yourself now only to yourself before, and like maybe setting up a goal for yourself in the future. But don't compare yourself to other people. Like, naturally you're gonna do it anyway. But it, again, it doesn't matter. Like, put things in perspective. Whenever you have a problem, most of the time it's a small problem. But if you only think about it, like in a very narrow fashion, then you think the problem is too big. So take a step back and like think about the big picture. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? And like, yes, it's a lot of small steps. Yes, it's going to be hard. This program is tough. This is like, I haven't seen a program that is as hard as this one. And, we've designed it so that it is like this, right? A lot of the things right now you can find on the internet, like tasks are like too easy. They give you the answer because they don't want you to be frustrated, and they want you to stay, and then like, feel like a winner. But the problem is like, you don't learn anything. Learning comes from struggling a little bit, at least, right? And the more you struggle, the more you're going to memorize and understand once you get it. And so it's struggling is part of the process. It might not sound like really cool, but struggling is part of the process of learning. If you make everything too easy, you're not going to learn anything. All right? Okay. Does anybody have any question about everything I just said? Is it okay if you don't finish every single task? Yes, yeah, of course it's okay. So I'd rather have you guys finish, 75% of the task and understand all of them, even 50%, but understand all of them, versus like, finishing everything all the time. Again, like, put this question into perspective. What's your goal? Your goal is to understand what you're doing and to learn from it, right? The goal is not to finish tasks. The goal is not to attend ALX. The goal is not to get 80%. The goal is for you to find a good job, right? ALX is like probably one of the best tools to get to this goal, right? But again, the goal is not to finish all the tasks. The goal is to find a job. So what is the best? Do you think it's within this context, do you think it's better to finish 50% on your own without copying anything, but understanding everything? Versus like finishing all the tasks but don't understand anything, right? Makes sense, I think. Yeah, everything's perspective. I don't know who David Malan is. Joshua, what do you mean? How can you participate in the live coding sessions? You want to do live coding sessions too? Emanuela, yes, it's great. If you struggle, you learn. How far gone are we into the live video? I don't know. I have like plenty of time. I'll be there until like you guys go to sleep. Oh, so if you, oh, you mean like, oh, so Joshua, you mean like if you want to, if you want to follow, so like, you know, like follow me on YouTube, follow me on LinkedIn. I have like, you know, right here, there's my Twitter handle, and every time I'll go online, you know, I'll tweet something. Christian, you struggle with problem solving a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna go through a few tasks on the pointers project, the first one, and then you're gonna go through like step by step. But any question on the on like what I just said? No, the live session is not gonna be available after I finish, because again, I'm gonna go through some task, and I don't want anybody to copy. So Vic, if you have problems, you could you should have access to the Slack channel. So you should start there to ask questions, and you know the team is going to help you. So Vinci J, yes, in the case where one is unable to come up with a solution to a problem immediately, does that get better over time? Yes, yeah, and you're gonna see like they all like there is a framework on like how to go about a task, and the more you follow this, the easier it's going to be. It's just like training a muscle. So like the chat goes super fast. I can't read everything. Uh, for complete beginners, I think you follow the tasks. Like there is an order. You start with the small thing, and then you add them up over time. Yeah, that's high scrap me related to pointers. It's not. C is really unfriendly. Nah, that's not true. C is like your best friend, honestly, because like compared to other programs, what we call higher level programs, C doesn't do anything for you, but it doesn't hide anything from you either, right? So you have to understand everything, and it's gonna do only what you tell them to do. So it's actually your best friend, and that's my by far my favorite programming language because I control everything. I understand everything that's happening. In other programming languages, you don't control everything. They take care of like too many things for you. Yeah, but like there are like those programs you can these other programs that take care of a lot of things for you. Like you can build like much faster, cooler applications. Winston, I'm not going to go through the crack me now because this is an advanced task. I just want to make sure that first everybody gets the basis of the pointer. That's going to be the second part of the session. C is like philosophy of programming. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, syntax is, like C is also like the first programming language that you also are learning, right? So it's going to be the hardest because like all the principle of programming you're gonna learn through C, right? But you're gonna see when you start Python, it's gonna sound so easy. Yeah, Emmanuel, like just like follow me on LinkedIn. If you don't want to miss a session, like follow the channel on YouTube, and every time I'm gonna go live, then like you're gonna be pinged.